Your father owes me $4 million. Emily Chen stood in the doorway of the penthouse she'd been summoned to at midnight, staring at a man she'd never met. Victor Moretti, 60 years old, silver hair, expensive suit, eyes like winter. Behind him, through floor-to-ceiling windows, the New York skyline glittering like broken glass. I don't know what you're talking about. Your father, David Chen. He's been gambling at my establishments for 3 years. He's in debt. Deep debt. And the men he borrowed from, Victor's smile was cold. They're not patient. Her stomach dropped. My father doesn't gamble. Your father is a pathological gambler who's been hiding it from his family for years. And now the debt has come due. He gestured to a chair. Sit. We need to discuss terms. I'm not discussing anything with you. Then your father will be found in the East River by morning. Sit down. She sat, hands shaking. Victor pulled out a folder, slid it across the table. $4 million plus interest. Your father can't pay. Your family will lose everything. Your mother's bakery, your childhood home, your tuition, everything. We'll figure something out. You have 3 days before my associates come for collection, and they don't accept payment plans. Emily's throat closed. What do you want from me? Victor leaned back, studied her with those cold eyes. I want you to marry me. The room tilted. What? I need an heir. Someone to inherit my empire when I die. I'm 60 years old. No children, no wife. No time to build a traditional family. His voice was matter of fact. You marry me. You provide me with an heir.
Oh man.
And in exchange, I clear your father's debt. I protect your family. You walk away after the child is born with enough money to never worry again. You're insane. I'm practical. You have something I need: youth, fertility, time. I have something you need: money, protection, your father's life. He slid a contract across the table. You have 48 hours to decide. After that, I call in the debt. And your father pays with more than money. This is the story of a girl who was forced into an impossible choice. And the man who thought he could buy anything. Even Love. Emily didn't sleep for 2 days. Sat in her tiny NIU dorm room staring at the contract. Marriage contract, terms and conditions. Party of Victor Moretti agrees to. Clear all debts owed by David Chen, $4 million. Provide financial security for Chen family. Provide Party B with residence, security, health care. Upon successful birth of heir, provide Party B with $10 million settlement. Party B, Emily Chen agrees to. Legal marriage to Party A. Attempt conception within first year. Maintain public appearance as devoted wife. Relinquish parental rights to heir upon birth. Maintain confidentiality regarding nature of arrangement. She read it until the words blurred. Her father was in the hospital. Beaten badly, broken ribs, collapsed lung, a warning from Victor's associates. Emily sat beside his bed. Who did this to you? He couldn't look at her. Dad, who did this? I'm sorry, his voice was broken. I'm so sorry, Emily. I thought I could win it back. How much do you owe? Silence. Dad, how much? $4 million. He started crying. $4 million. And they're going to kill me. They're going to kill all of us. Emily's mother stood in the doorway, looking 20 years older than she had a week ago. We'll figure it out, she said. But her voice was hollow. They couldn't figure it out. There was no figuring out $4 million. Unless Emily walked into Victor's office 47 hours later, set the contract on his desk. Signed. I have conditions. He raised an eyebrow. The contract is binding. Additional conditions, non-negotiable, such as, you never touch me unless it's necessary for, she couldn't say it, for the arrangement. Agreed. You don't hurt my family. Ever. No matter what happens between us. Agreed. And after the baby is born, I walk away, cleanly. You never contact me again. Something flickered in his expression. Agreed. Then we have a deal. He stood, extended his hand. She took it. His grip was firm, cold. The wedding is in 3 days. My lawyer will handle everything. 3 days. I don't believe in long engagements. It was small, private, cold. City Hall, a judge, 2 witnesses Victor hired. Emily wore a white dress she'd bought at a department store. Victor wore a suit that cost more than her childhood home. Do you, Emily Chen, take this man? She said yes because she had to. Do you, Victor Moretti, take this woman? He said yes, like it was a business transaction. You may kiss the bride. Victor's lips touched hers. Brief, perfunctory, nothing. And she became Emily Moretti, wife to a man she didn't know, mother-to-be to a child she'd never raise. He took her to his penthouse that night. Manhattan, 50th floor. Views that stretched forever. This is your room. He opened a door. Mine is down the hall. You have full access to the apartment except my study. Staff will handle meals, cleaning, everything. Staff? Security, housekeepers, chef, driver. You're a Moretti now. You don't do anything yourself. She looked around the room. Enormous, luxurious hold, a gilded cage. How long? She stopped. How long before we fulfill the contract? He looked at her. My doctor will monitor your cycle. When you're fertile, we'll proceed, clinically, IVF if necessary. You've really thought this through. I don't do anything without thorough planning, except marry a stranger. His jaw tightened. Get some rest. Tomorrow we announce the marriage publicly. You'll need to be prepared. He left, and Emily sat on the edge of a bed that cost more than her education, and cried. The public announcement was brutal. Press conference, cameras, questions. Mr. Moretti, you've been a confirmed bachelor for decades. What changed? Victor smiled, put his arm around Emily's waist. I met Emily and realized everything I'd been missing. She's extraordinary. Emily, how did you two meet? Emily's mind blanked. Victor squeezed her waist. Warning. Through mutual friends, she managed. It was unexpected, but sometimes the best things are. When's the wedding? We already married, Victor said, privately. We're traditional that way. Any plans for children? When the time is right. The press ate it up. Billionaire bachelor finally settles down. Young bride. Fairy tale romance. None of them knew the truth. The hardest part was the social events. Galas, fundraisers, dinners with people who had more money than entire countries. Victor would put his hand on her back, smile, introduce her as my beautiful wife. She'd smile, play the part, die inside. You're doing well, he said one night in the car after a particularly brutal dinner party. I'm a good actress. You're more than that. She looked at him. What am I, Victor? Your employee? Your incubator? You're my wife. On paper, that's the only place that matters. But something in his voice suggested he didn't quite believe that anymore. It took 4 months. 4 months of clinical procedures, of doctors, of Victor being present but distant. Then the test came back positive. Emily stared at the 2 lines. Pregnant. With his child. A child I'll have to give up. She told Victor that evening. He was in his study, working late as always. It's positive. He looked up from his laptop. Something crossed his face. Relief? Fear? She couldn't tell. You're certain? Blood test confirmed it. I'm 6 weeks. He stood, crossed to her. How are you feeling? Terrified. Of what? Of all of it. Of carrying a baby for 9 months. Of giving birth. She stopped. Of giving them up. His expression softened slightly. That's in the contract. I know what's in the contract. Her voice broke. But I'm 22 years old, Victor. I'm carrying a baby I'll never raise because my father is a gambling addict. And you need an heir. This isn't how life is supposed to work. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, would you like to keep it? She stared at him. What? The baby. Would you want to be involved? Raise it together. Victor, you're 60 years old. You don't want a family. You want an heir. There's a difference. Maybe I've changed my mind. People don't just change their minds. I'm not most people. He stepped closer. Emily, I know this isn't what you wanted. I know I forced you into an impossible situation, but you're here. You're pregnant. And He stopped. You what? I don't want you to leave. The room went very quiet. The contract says, fuck the contract. His voice was rough. I wrote it when I thought I could keep this transactional. But I can't. You've been here 6 months. You've smiled through dinners with people I can barely stand. You've played the perfect wife for cameras. He stopped. You've made this place feel less empty. Victor, I'm not asking you to love me. I'm not that naive. I'm just asking, don't leave. After the baby comes, stay. Raise it with me. Why? Because you're 22 and brilliant, and you deserve better than walking away from your child with blood money. And because he looked at her, really looked at her. Because somewhere in the last 6 months I started caring about you, and I don't know how to stop. Tears burned her eyes. You can't just... You forced me into this. You blackmailed me. You can't suddenly decide you care and expect. I know what I did, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it right if you let me. I don't know if I can forgive you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to be better than I was. To give you a choice this time, real choice, not coercion. She looked at this man, 60 years old, silver hair, eyes that weren't quite so cold anymore. Who'd blackmailed her into marriage? Who was asking her to stay? I need time. Take all the time you need. 7 months pregnant. Emily was in the penthouse library reading when the windows exploded. Glass everywhere. Gunfire. Victor appeared from nowhere, grabbed her, pulled her behind the couch. Stay down. What's happening? More gunfire. Security shouting. Chaos. Victor's body covered hers, protecting her, protecting the baby. Isabella Geneves, he said, voice tight. Rival. I took territory from her family 2 years ago. She's come for revenge. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought I had it handled. More shots. Closer now. Victor pulled out a gun. You have a gun? Emily, I'm not a good man. I never have been. But I won't let anyone hurt you or our baby. Understand? Our baby, not the heir. Our baby. The shooting stopped. Security had contained the threat. But Emily's water broke. Right there. Behind the couch. 7 months along. No, she gasped. No, it's too early. We need to get her to the hospital. Victor was already on the phone. Now, helicopter to the roof. Everything moved fast after that emergency C-section. Too early. Too dangerous. Victor wasn't allowed in the OR. Paced outside like a caged animal. When the doctor came out, you have a daughter, 3 pounds 11 ounces. She's in the NICU, but she's fighting. And Emily? Recovering. She wants to see you. Victor found Emily in recovery. Pale, exhausted, beautiful. Is she okay? She's perfect. Tiny, but perfect. Can I see her? They're stabilizing her. Soon, he took her hand. You were incredible. I was terrified. So was I. She looked at him. You've never been scared in your life. I've never had something worth losing before. Baby Isabella Rose Moretti. 3 pounds of fury in an incubator. Victor and Emily stood on either side. She's so small, Emily whispered. She's a fighter, like her mother. Victor, I'm staying, he said, however long it takes. I'm staying with both of you. Weeks in the NICU. Victor never left. Worked from the hospital. Slept in a chair. Held Emily when she cried. And slowly, the girl he'd blackmailed into marriage. The man who'd destroyed her choices. They became something else. Parents, partners, something real. Isabella came home after 6 weeks. Healthy, growing, perfect. Emily held her daughter in the penthouse, the cage that had become home. Victor appeared in the doorway. We need to talk. She looked up. About what? He pulled out papers. The contract. Their original agreement. I'm voiding this. What? The contract. It's void. You're free to leave. Keep Isabella. Take the 10 million. Go back to your life. She stared at him. Why? Because you never had a choice before. You were forced into this. And I can't keep you prisoner anymore. Victor, I love you, Emily. I'm in love with you. I have been since about month 4 when you told me my fundraiser speech was pretentious and made me rewrite it. He smiled sadly. But loving you means giving you the choice I took away. So leave, or stay. Your decision. No coercion. Emily looked at her daughter, at the man who'd blackmailed her, who'd protected her, who'd become. Can I ask you something? Anything. If I choose this, what are we? Whatever you want us to be. I want truth. No more games, no more contracts. Just an Esty. Okay. Then here's my truth. She looked at him. I hated you for 6 months. Hated what you did, what you forced me into. I fantasized about leaving every single day. He nodded. I know, but somewhere between the fake smiles and the real fear and holding our daughter in the NICU, her voice cracked. I stopped hating you and started seeing who you actually are, not the monster who blackmailed me. The man who held my hand through every doctor's appointment, who threw himself on top of me when bullets came through the windows, she stopped, who loves our daughter more than his empire. Emily, I'm not saying I love you, not yet. I'm not sure I can after everything, but I'm saying I want to try, to see if what we've built in the ruins of that contract can become something real. He crossed to her. Careful, gentle, that's enough. That's more than I deserve. It is more than you deserve. She smiled slightly. But I'm giving it to you anyway. He kissed her. Soft. Real. Not a contract kiss. A choice. Isabella Rose Moretti was 2 years old. Walking. Talking. Ruling the penthouse like a tiny dictator. Emily had gone back to school, finished her degree, was applying to law school. Victor had stepped back from some of his darker business, was trying to be better. They weren't perfect. Some days Emily still resented what he'd done. Some days Victor still struggled with the guilt. But they were trying, and trying was enough. One morning, Emily found him in Isabella's room, watching their daughter sleep. You okay? Just thinking about how I almost didn't have this, how I was willing to buy an Heir and throw away everything else. Emily moved beside him. You got more than you bargained for. I got everything I didn't know I needed. He looked at her. I love you. I know I don't say it enough, but I do. I know. She took his hand, and she stopped. You what? I love you too, she said it for the first time. Not because I have to, not because of contracts or debts or daughters, just because I do. He pulled her close, kissed her properly, and Isabella woke up demanding pancakes, because that's what real families did. They lived, they loved. They made pancakes at 6 a.m. for tiny tyrants, and they chose each other every day, even when it was hard. He blackmailed her into marriage, forced her to bear his heir. It was supposed to be simple, transactional, cold, but you can't live with someone for a year without seeing who they really are. Edge, you can't hold your child together without building something real. What started as coercion became choice. The hardest, bravest choice of all. To love someone who hurt you, to build from ruins, to become a family. The complicated, messy, hard-earned way.